Hello, and welcome to Grug Gaming. And welcome back to our playthrough of Stellaris, and what is our final episode of this playthrough. Now again, I may have some follow-up episodes, I can't guarantee that, folks, but this is the final episode. We are at the year 2300. We have gone 100 years into our empire. So let's take a quick look at where we are, and then let's talk about the game while we're wrapping up. So here you can see that we have greatly expanded our borders. Basically, when we started, we had a single planet of Ixathrak, where we began our marvelous journey. And from here, we have spread out among the stars. If you remember, we did this little hop over to the Jared system in the very beginning. That was the first colony that we built. And then instead of building other colonies, we started to grab up alien species planets and enslave them. Then we expanded out in a huge colonial expansion throughout the southern part of space. And then again into the north. We are becoming the big boy on the block. You can see that we own probably, I'm going to say, the single most amount of space for one empire. I will be able to take a look at that in a second here. We also have a huge fleet capacity. We can build 526 ships if we wanted to. We have so many space stations. But we are limited by the amount of energy that we currently have in the empire. In the past 17 years of gameplay, not much has happened. The borders have increased. We've kind of locked down our border here with the Democratic Volar Union. Kind of locked all of this down. Our protectorate's been expanding. I'm kind of worried, as if they make this ancient fallen empire angry, we might have to go to war with them. That might be bad. But overall, we're becoming the big guys. And basically it was 17 years of just straight expansion. A couple few things. There's the good speechifying. A couple things that did happen that I just want to make note of in that span of time was... Oh, let me find the right information here, folks. Alright. In 2286, we made a little war up here. Targon system. There was another empire here that we went ahead and just took over. You can see they appear to hate us quite a bit. Not real happy with us. These avian aliens, the Sibulins that we took over. They basically, it was kind of funny. When we declared war, they said, "But why?" And my response was, because I wanted a complete border here. I didn't want a little empire in the middle of mine. So we took over their star system. And then in 2286... after being with us from the beginning of our time in space, the Emperor died. Emperor Slurfuge has died, and Empress Gauni now sits upon the throne. Gauni the First. Oh, that's kind of cool. Now sits upon the throne of the Ixadar Star Collective. So she is now ruling. Again, it really is just some modifiers. So our spaceports cost less, our modules cost less, and our edicts cost less and last longer. So the new Empress rules the world, rules the Empire, which is kind of cool. I also like that she has a different coloring. She's not the same subspecies as Slurfuge was. So we have a new Empress, and also... that was about the last big thing to happen, and the rest was just the expansion. So my plans, if I continue to play, like I said before, would be to conquer this other spiral arm here, try to maintain neutrality over here so we don't have a war, and just see if I could take this over. That being my kind of big goal. So now that we've pretty much played through everything we're going to in the game, sorry I keep moving the map around, folks. Let's talk about the game. So we learned all the basics of it, and from what you can see, The game is really well fleshed out in some areas, but seems to have some shortcomings in it. Where it is really well fleshed out is the research and technology aspect of it. The fact that you have a random set of items that come up that you can research, that you don't just have a set tree like, let's say, in something like Civilization. You're not always going to have the same playthrough. Your empire is going to evolve differently as far as what type of planets you can colonize, maybe what type of weapons you're using, what type of ships you get. All of that would be kind of, different every time you played through. The other thing that I love the variety of aliens and governments that the game has in it. I mean, again, we were a big slaver culture. We found all these individualist cultures that we kept coming up against, and they didn't like us because of that. So really good variety there. Also, it's fun to have these different FTL types. So I didn't really talk about this very much, but the Democratic Volar Union, one reason why I don't want to go to war with them... Oh, it's funny, our borders kind of cut this planet off. See this? They're a wormhole species. And we have those different types of flight. Again, we had the warp speed, the FTL... the warp speed, the hyper lanes, and wormhole. So the warp speed, what we have... we have our ships which have a warp range that they can travel in that dictate how far they can go. So our main battle fleet, for example, can reach anything inside this circle. But they have to travel there. It takes some time. The hyperlanes, again, these are these little lines that you can see here because we have that research that lets us see the hyperlanes. Ships can travel almost instantaneously across these lanes, but they have to stay within these highways in space, basically, so they can be choked off. But they travel faster. The Volert, though, because they're a wormhole species, I have no idea what their range is. It could be this big for all I know. They can have ships go from here to here in one go without having to go through the space in between. So it adds some strategy to it because I'm really concerned, even though we have this great border, they could just interdict right into the middle of my empire. Some of the weaknesses in the game that I've noticed, though, number one, the diplomacy. As we saw before, talking to other nations, let's take a look at the Volert, for example. So when we're dealing with other nations, very limited in what we can do. I mean, we have the basic, again, trade deal, and we can build the embassies, control this number, either positive or negative, to keep them from going to war with us. But again, nobody ever really wants to trade. It feels like the game is very antagonistic as far as any kind of inter-empire trading or communication. There are alliances in the game. Now, it could just be this playthrough. Maybe you'll start a playthrough and everybody around you will be the same type of government style or the same ethos, and you'll all get along buddy-buddy. But it feels like, at least in this game, that everybody hates us. Even though everybody else is at war across this galaxy. So I feel like that should be fleshed out. Again, as I spoke before, I think that it'd be nice if in this contact section I could see a little bit more than just, hey, who somebody's rival is, and who they're, for example, who they're subservient to. I wish that I could see a little bit more, like should be able to click on this race and this race and see how they feel about each other. Like a little more diplomacy would be kind of cool. I also feel that, again, the sector system, at first I really didn't like it, but now that I've expanded to such a large empire, I've kind of grown to like it because I can just leave those places alone, let them build up. I'm still kind of torn on that, actually. Those really are the only big shortcomings, in my opinion, right now. The space fleet combat is cool. It's got a nice rock, paper, scissors component to it as far as what ships beat out the others as far as technology goes. You can't just swarm. If you have a giant fleet but your technology's behind, you're still going to get wiped out. So a lot of considerations as far as the combat goes. Overall, really enjoy the game. Can't help but recommend it to anybody. If you've been watching the playthrough, you probably have seen that I've really had a lot of fun. Let's do one last overview of the entire Ixodar nation here, shall we, before we leave? So the Ixodar Star Collective, we control 46 planets. To give you an idea, we'll just look at our big neighbors here, the Democratic Volar Union is who we'll compare to. I wish I could pull both up, again, a side-by-side. So they control 26 planets, have 265 population. We control 46 and have 457, pretty much twice their size. And we're going to be bigger once we integrate our Hulfer Confederacy friends to the north. We again take up pretty much the most space as far as a single empire. Down here there's a little federation that popped up. I'm not really going to go into it because it's just been happening on the other side of space. I haven't been paying attention to it. But there's been a little federation that popped up here, and the Equidian Confederacy is kind of spread out, trying to cause some noise down here in the south. But other than that, we're the big boys on the block. Again, year 2300, I'm going to maybe play a little bit more. We might come back with a follow-up video later on. But overall, I had a lot of fun. I learned the game. And I hope that you had a lot of fun watching if you stuck with us through all these playthroughs. I want to say thank you for watching to all of my subscribers. You guys, the reason I do this, it's really fun to play through these games so that you can watch. I don't again say this every single video, but every once in a while I'd like to say, tell your friends, like, comment, subscribe on the videos, tell me what you like, what you don't like as far as these playthroughs go. And with that, as we wrap up on this rambling final episode of Stellaris, I do want to say thank you. And as always, we hope to see you soon.